Ah, excellent. Shall we walk? This is part 2 of like a 2-part video, or like a, I don't know how many part video. Anyway, I don't think it'll be that much longer. Anyway, so this is another bit of psychedelics. We've gone through, I think, the establishment of the memorial garden as being a circular walking pattern around the St. Marley stone, and I've gone into the background of how it was that sort of came to be in quite a a long way. Anyway, good. So this is more like I was about to make a lengthy detour into why it is that a circle should exist, and I come to think then of the recent videos that I've done on crop circles and my interest in that, and ancient stone circle, and I need a drink. Excuse me. Shungite water. Shungite water is amazing. Shungite is like a super material. I've got it in my like hat band. It stops the like noise. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. So the thing also that we're going to talk about and walking around in the back like a two-way split as I tell a story, it's the way it goes, is, so we'll come over to this end actually, because this has a separate spiral, I suppose you could say to it, vortex, and this runs off the main vortex, so it's like a infinity loop, but because it's an infinity loop, this spirals in the opposite direction kind of emotionally, actually. He realizes. This is learn teaching, as it says in the law of one. It's like you can't like try and teach something without learning something yourself, otherwise you're not teaching, and that's like the way it works. Because you're like accessing knowledge on behalf of somebody else when you're teaching. You kind of, anyway, it flows through and you get to experience it all the way through. Anyway, so here we are. Yeah, in an emotional way, that's the way it feels now. I'm kind of experiencing this for the first time since I made it, and that was just on a tiny number of mushrooms. I laid it out and walked it, and then I never got emotional like that before. Anyway, but this is like, anyway, so the story is this, is that I had gone to this is back in the day, like 1997, 96, maybe 95, maybe 95 going to 96, maybe it's 96. Anyway, so context is have been a pothead at school, and it was all a bit treacherous, and I decided that I definitely wasn't going to go to university. University was a stupid idea. Why would anyone go to university? What a waste of time, my god, for goodness sake, what are you doing with your life? Where the fuck? Anyway. My mother was trying to get me to work at Waitrose. I mean, no. Anyway. So, but my mother had also trained me into the bargain, the hunt for the bargain, you see. So the university clearing system in the United Kingdom, when all the university places have been taken that are wanted, then they have some places left over, and that's like those are the clearing places. So if you've fucked it up, basically, is by smoking loads of weed and having loads of bereavement going on, is well, some, and that was fuck. Anyway, is ordinary bereavement. Anyway, so when you've got I don't know, I got a D and an E, some B at AS level maths, I think. Not very good. Certainly me, I could have smashed that if I'd been like giving a heck about it, honestly. But I was like, you can get onto this. If my mother was like, why don't you do environmental science? You've always liked geography. meaning go to the local college, stay at home, go to the local college, do another A-level in it or something, I think. But I sort of got enthusiastic about it because I do love the Earth, and that is, I'm super interested by the solar system and all those things, like natural physics. So when a place at Lancaster University came up that was an AAB course or something, or I could get onto some other type of near course and then shuffle across to the expensive course, basically the posh course, the one that's got me, I did really well for about the first term. I was really trying very hard. I joined the rowing club, and then, but there was kind of a coming together of, I fingered a girl. Well, I didn't take it very seriously because whatever. She thought we were married or something, and the fact that I was just like, I fingered you so what, basically, slightly, but just like a casual fucking dickhead, like I was, whatever. Terrible, judge me, okay, judge me if you like, I mean, whatever. Yeah, so the girls, or I was just living with girls, there's all these girls, I bless them. I'm not suited to like a quiet environment with like perfumes and like candles and things. I mean, maybe I am now when I'm much older, but fuck that. I wanted bongs and loud music and rock music. Let's face it. Anyway, so yeah, that was sort of, it was like a resentful thing, so I really sort of tried to join in with it though when I got there. So maybe this is like memories, and then like, yay, I learned to be a dickhead in those times. Yay, oh, memories. Because it dances the other way. It's like, God, I've got the right shoes on. I've got the dancing shoes on. Anyway, or does it? Or does it dance the other way? Oh yeah, this way. I suppose it dances both ways. But it's like, I got this spin thing going anyway, so I'm trying to tell where the spin came from. That's where we are with this. There was a thing going on in Oxford called the Tribe of Isis, which was like being optimistic about it, it was a psychedelic trance sound system. Just spelling that out for Google there, just in case I didn't hear it. It's gone. I'm going to walk around the other circle for a minute. That's better. What did I learn from it? I shan't mourn for it, but, you know, I'm not really. I mean, I was very idealistic at that time. I was 20, 21, something like that. 19, I don't know. Young. I mean, is that young? I don't know. I felt old. I felt like I had the world at my feet, and that I was my own person. I could do what the fuck I wanted. So I felt at that time. Is that young? It's not childish, is it? So, anyway. Because, you know, when others would be starved, we were 45, for fuck's sake. It's our lives, thank you. Well, you know, relatively. Running out of battery, good. So I was sort of in a scene of a rave outfit, basically, like a little one. We used to do free parties on bits of broadly public land, and be careful with it, basically. But not within the law, obviously. And consume psychedelic drugs at these things. I hadn't got into that by then. Because I first did psychedelics yeah, that's true. I first did them in Lancaster the summer after my first year. So this is the story of like what happened of being at university is, yeah, I think that girl, and then so I couldn't like be in the flat where I was, so then, but I I didn't move in with Gaz until the next term, really. It was, I fell in love with the brother of a girl that sucked me off. Went all over the headboard. It's amazing. Yeah, this is a long video, right? Anyway, good. They left the lights on next door. They went away and left the lights on. God's sake. The lights up the garden at night. Damn. Yeah. So I fell in love with this, and I went to like some place in, I don't know, is it Essex? Not Essex. Crowborough. West Sussex, is it? East Sussex. I don't know, somewhere there. And on like New Year's Eve, we went out, and like with this much older guy in his Nova SR that was all lowered, and we were like doing, and then with a load of lads basically, and we were doing like 120 mile an hour through the middle of, I don't know, Epping Forest, wherever it is down there, in the fog. On pills. We're clambering on this like ancient rock form. I don't know what it is now, some sort of ancient rock form there, and dropped my first type of I think maybe I had done 2CB. It was my, no I hadn't, no maybe I had, because I did that at school anyway. Which is a bit psychedelic actually. And I've been doing psychedelic, like I've been having psychedelic experiences for years before I did acid and any of that, with a friend of mine at school. Anyway, so yeah, I was a bit of a fuckhead basically. That's the long and short of it. I was a bit of a fuckhead. Anyway. And then I couldn't go back to the flat because of the fingering situation, which is unfortunate, and got in with these Greeks. And they were my friends, and then my friend Gaz, and I slept on his floor. Never went back to the flat and became homeless basically at that point. That's basically what happened. That's what happened. So this is the first time I've felt secure since then. Yeah, my mother got ill and I got upset, and then I went and fell in love with somebody, and then anyway, I don't think you can, it's what happened. That's it. Good. So anyway, I was a bit of a fuckhead. So I was at the Big Green Gathering, which is like a hippie festival run by Bicycle Power in somewhere in England. And I was speaking to a man with long hair and white hair and a long white beard, like off of the 60s, like so from the first wave. And he was saying to me, I feel sorry for you children because kids, I think, or whatever, young people or men or fucking whatever it is you have to say these days, or kids, whatever, boys, I don't, anyway. Not that I feel strongly about any of that. We do get ambulances here. How did I start spinning round, Mark? Tell the story. I was speaking to this man with a long white beard at this hippie festival, and he was like, I feel sorry for you kids these days because the acid that you take is like nothing like the acid that we had in the 60s. It's like, you want some proper acid. None of this namby, but I mean, we were getting some pretty nice acid, but he gave me this like one tab with a UFO, blue, green UFO. I remember it. One tab, that was it. And I put it in my wallet. I was like, because it was a UFO, I was like, I just disregarded it. There's a tail in that, I'm sure. Freud. It's, I was like, because we had red rockets, and red rockets are rubbish. You could like basically take 10 of them or 15 or 20 of them, doesn't matter, and you still wouldn't be like tripping really hard. We were doing Ganesh. 2 Ganesh, that was enough to fuck you hard. Anyway, good. So I had this and I put it in my wallet. I was like, yeah, whatever. This is X-rated, this story. X-rated channel, it's fine. So I just had it in my wallet. So when I had fallen out with my friend in Sheffield, where I went after I dropped out of Lancaster and lived there like nocturnally, smoking a load of weed that we had for free just magically appeared the day before I got there. Is literally anyway. Pay for it. Is thank you. I don't know, James. I think it was from then. Anyway, met them at a nightclub, and he's like, "Please, can you take this?" Anyway, in history. Yeah, living in Sheffield, and fell out, and then like moved to the other side. We were dancing in the park, is what happened. We were tripping, dancing in the park to like a ghetto blaster, and then some hippies came past, and they were like came and danced for a little bit, and then they were chatting, and they didn't really get on with the friend I had from in Oxford that I was living in Sheffield with, but we got on really, really well. So I kind of split. I did. I went to the Remedy sound system. And the community attached to that in Sheffield in 1997, something like that. We took, I was part of the crew, of course I was. Very crew, see. Yeah, we took a whole coach load of trip heads to Holland for a week's like psychedelic fantasy in Holland with the sound system over there, and put on like a night every night between the two sound system and like a load of trip heads in a bus to Holland. Yeah, we sort of went to Amsterdam. I don't think we really went to Amsterdam. It's more like Leiden and the smaller places like that, because they were an indigenous sound system from Holland. Amazing. Oh, the DJs, grass cutter DJs, shout out. They were mixing vinyl. This one guy, was he Matt, I think? I don't know, I fell in love with him, of course I did. Beautiful hair. He was mixing two records together with his hands like that. You couldn't tell. You just couldn't tell. Yeah, two records just moving with his hands, and it was just pouring out drum and bass. It was just absolutely perfect and flawless. It was like, digital didn't exist. Anyway, artist. True artist he was. So I'd had this dodgy pill at these Merchants Arches nightclub, wherever it was, Leiden or whatever. Leiden, I think. Maybe Utrecht. Leiden, I think. Anyway, next to the canal. And I was like, had this dodgy pill. I was like, this wasn't dodgy, it was just like, I haven't come up. And then I dropped this acid out of my mate. I was like, this shit acid will top this night off because this fucking pill isn't working. It won't cost me anything, because I didn't have any money. Of course I didn't have money. Yeah, I was tripping really hard. Like, I've never tripped so hard. I was just dancing, and this is where the spiral comes from. So here we are, we've now arrived at the punchline. I just found myself then dancing in this spiral, but it was like all of the parts of my body like involved in some kind of an inertial activity. So everything was moving, but only by its own inertia. So I wasn't putting any more force into it. It's what it felt like. And it was just like I was in a total like physical flow state, which matched a like wave form, which matched the like frequency of the universe, that was like a synchronization moment or something. Because it's like I locked on to the spin of the universe, basically. And I've always carried that with me. So every time there's some dancing going on, back in the day, I would be first on the dance floor, and I would, start in the middle, start a spin with my finger, let the spin. I mean, I wasn't asked to do this, it's just something that happened. Start the spin with a finger, just start the spin, and then transfer the spin into like the movement of energy in a space to make the dance floor. That's what I used to do. That's what I felt like I was doing. Magic, obviously, you can't prove it. Yeah, so this is where this came from. That's like, since then has been my natural essence. And as far as, after I'd been to university, I'd been off drugs completely. I was an alcoholic immediately. It was a disaster. I was off drugs like psychedelics completely then. I went to university. Then after that, I was setting up a business in architecture. Been quite sort of trying to be serious about it. And I had an interviewer come, a journalist came to interview me about my company. And his comment to me after the interview, he was like, oh, it's really lovely to see somebody that's, that's got all these hippie ideals and actually, keeps hold of them, because most people just drop them after they, get to, 23 and get married or whatever. And I was like, mate, I'm trying to be straight, or what are you on about? So I've been going around ever since in circles, basically. And here we are. So this is the 2020 version of a circle. And I say it's an infinity loop. So this is Morning in hands. These are, it's an emotion. It's of love. It's a circle of love. And then like grateful. But then like, you see how it works. So instead of going that way into that circle, you just spend a moment going forward and then to the other circle, and then the circle is contained. It's like switching orbits, but this one has no center basically. So then this is the up, dance, joy, heart, love spiral, like that, and that's the fucking grief cycle spiral. And maybe then that is the link back, because you recall, if you watch my videos, when I was in the crop circles, the first circle I described as the Sintamani stone, and that is there, a more significantly larger one than I had at the time, but that's the energy of it, the holding energy in the first circle. And in the second circle was this, I can't do it in this bar, I can't do it in this circle, I have to go to the other one. Go forward and over, there you are, over here. So this is the second circle we went to. This is where I took my friend Anthony Kyria, 98. 100. Fuck's sake, dickhead. Anyway, safe, yeah. It's connected. Shall I cut it out? No. Trimming. Anyway, good. I feel I'm mortified. And you are sort of going on the wrong way, dude. I haven't talked about what I wanted to talk about yet. Still talking about the garden. Yeah, this is the second. And then this is much more, it's a bit, you can't hear it really in the film because of the wind. Somber. This is the somber. Not shiny. Dry. And the Sintamani has brought me to attention here at the centre point of the garden. So there's a real, you see, there's a sort of there's consciousness associated with stones, maybe the Sintamani stone in particular. But on my honestly, because it just did it to me now, it was just like, I just felt it as a kind of swerve, and I found myself stood at attention in front of the Sintamani. This is the approach position for setting down a removal, because honestly, when I first set that stone there, I was stood in a particular place watching lightning. I love watching lightning, and this is what I reckon, it's come through a thunderstorm. It's got some connection with lightning, because it brought me to the lightning. That's what the weather was when I got here. That's what the garden was. I was here watching lightning, and I was like, I just felt directed. All right, I feel like a madman or whatever. I felt directed. I was like, exactly whatever. I was just like, yeah, fucking stone speaking, whatever. It's like, no, the lightning. If you want to see the lightning, like, come and stand over here and look over there. And I was like, yeah, whatever. When I was still over here, looking over there. See, and I was like, bullshit. And I was like, actually, maybe. And then as I was turning around, because I'd like given it a minute, not a minute, but a few seconds. It's like, as I was turning around, boom, just out of the corner of my eye, you could see the most incredible fork. And it was like saying, right, You go over it. It wasn't doing it all the time. It's like I'd go in thought then. This is when I was first then. It was 2 stalks and a cap of mushrooms. And we shall hear about that in part 3. I'm enjoying this. If you are. See. Need new battery. Need new battery. My God, what was the story? What was the lightning? Anyway, yeah, no, I just finished that actually. It's real quick because I need to go and get a battery, and then I know I'll sketch out because it's getting too dark and cold. Anyway. Oh yeah, I've got satsang, got the communication with Jesus. Oh my God, I'm missing it. Is yeah, and then it was just like saying, no, go stand over there, look over there, and then there'd be a flash, and I'd go into a dream again, and I'd just be wandering about, and I'd suddenly feel directed. I was like, northeast over here, and it's like, shing, bang. I was like, that's too much, man. And then so all this has kind of been in a like a co-creation with the spirit of Sintamani, honestly. And I think it's remarkable to be able to reflect back on those crop circle experiences, because none of that I related to what was going on here at all. But it's very the same. It's very the same. It's like reflections. Wow. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure. Welcome to the garden.